Hello Paul, Andy here, over in England actually. You were asking everybody where they were. I just watched your video, One Tube, One World, One Day. Quite a powerful video, but I do have a couple of issues. I do think it's a very good idea, or out of sight, out of mind sort of analogy, or your observations there. And it's a very true point. We do not think generally of people, if they're, as you quite rightly say, if they're out of sight, they're out of mind. But I think the usually thing about YouTube being the sort of greatest invention, more or less, I think that's where you were going. I don't think so much that YouTube, although I think it's a very powerful tool nowadays, I think that the internet, which is obviously where it's come from, is far more powerful ultimately. That is connecting people right around the world. One of the problems with YouTube is that most of the videos, especially what we look at, are in English, and there has been concerns, I know, with other parts of the world that maybe they can't understand. I know English is a global language and is probably the most widely spoken, I suppose, by people. It certainly is a second language anyway. So that would actually stop something. But I think the internet is far more powerful tool, and it is changing the way we live. It's changing the way everybody lives across the world. It's changing the way that we portray things. We can use the internet for propaganda. We've had instances in China where the government are trying to stop the use of the internet because it doesn't go along with their own political viewpoints and things like that. YouTube is a very good idea. There's a good community, as we said about YouTube itself. We're always going on about the community, but the whole world is a community. That's the way we should look at it, I think. YouTube is being used now by companies and also advertisers, everybody. We've got big television companies using it now, being signed up by Google now as well. We've taken over, obviously. Political parties are posting their adverts on, so people can't get away with a lot of what they used to be able to get away with, partly because it would be posted up, as I saw someone else say, you can get a mobile phone, a cell phone, and post your video straight up from that. So any problems with a politician or a political party, if they make some sort of gaffe or some error in the speech, or they act a complete fool somewhere, it will be up there on tape, up on YouTube or on one of the other sites very quickly. So in that respect, you were going on about wars and how you could prevent wars. That is one way. I don't really subscribe to your view about because we've got friends all over the world that it makes us look any different. It's a nice idea, but ultimately it's not us that's dropping the bombs, is it? It's the politicians who are dropping the bombs, not your ordinary YouTube viewer. We may watch videos, we've had it before, it's not a new phenomenon, is it? YouTube new in as much as that people can post their views on here or on other aspects of the internet. But in the past, people have written in newspapers, posted pleas wherever it might be, letters to papers or to other visiting politicians in the Second World War, other conflicts that we've had. I'm sure there are people in Iraq and Afghanistan and every other place who don't want us to be bombing them, but hasn't taken any notice of them, have we? And we've seen the pictures, and we still carry on doing it for whatever reason, and that's the same across the world. I don't think that's really going to change things. As you mentioned the 9/11 analogy there as well, and we end up punishing a whole country for the actions of a few, and unfortunately that is what always happens with wars, whether it be in Nazi Germany. I've just watched one of the responses from somebody mentioning Nazi Germany. There were a lot of people in Nazi Germany who didn't like the Nazis or were too scared to stand up and say so, certainly, but they all got punished. So I don't know. I say I have a bit of a worry about some of the things that you said. I think you're a little bit rose-coloured spectacles. I think maybe I'm a cynical git. I don't know, but I'm really, as much as I love the YouTube aspect, and I think we can change things certainly, and I think the internet ultimately will change a lot more and is changing the way we live. It will stop politicians. It will make politicians stand up and be counted a bit more. But I do think that your analogy with wars and that, I'm afraid, I don't think we're going to stop that unless we can actually get the whole world to think as a community. Which I don't think that's really going to happen. It's a great idea, and I hope it does happen, but I really don't think that it will. But we've all got our friends around the world, and we'd all hate to see anybody harmed. But why should it just be because of YouTube? We should be thinking that anyway. Why should, just because you've seen somebody, why should we feel any different about them just because we've seen someone or met someone? Yes, I know it creates a bond there, which you can ultimately attach to. But people across the world, in my opinion, are all equal. So where does that leave us? And anyway, I just thought I'd say that very quickly. Just watched the video, so that was pretty much off the top of my head. So I'm going to give this a view before I put it up, actually, I think, just to make sure that it's saying what I wanted to. Anyway, thanks for the video anyway, Paul. Very thought-provoking, as you might have gathered. Anyway, thanks very much. Goodbye.